Hey, welcome to the Sounds on Vinyl show. My name is Phil Boyer, and that handsome dude next to me is none other than Mike Svensson, lead singer extraordinaire, past, present, future, in multiple dimensions. It doesn't matter. If it's a band that exists somewhere, he's likely singing in that band. Am I right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You're always right. I mean, the way that I don't know. You're always right.
Except for when I'm half left.
Yeah. God. Damn.
There we go. There we go.
Yes.
And this
We have.
week we got a fun record.
Oh yeah.
We got a fun record.
Oh yeah.
And
I can't.
if you missed the big announcement on the last episode,
Yeah.
go back and either watch it on YouTube or listen to it in your favorite podcast app because we're
Yes.
not going to say it again today.
No.
Nope. But
No. Go
but we
listen.
may have an announcement next on the next episode.
Oh yeah.
So watch out for that.
Oh yeah.
Keep
Stay
your
tuned.
eyes and ears open for that. But this week we are talking about the one of the most kick-ass records, I think, of
Oh
our
yeah.
time.
Mm.
Peace of Mind by Iron Maiden.
Oh yes.
It's always a good day when you can talk about Iron Maiden.
It is. It is actually, and it's sort of when we pick this album, it always gets me back to. I mean, I remember it because was my first Maiden album that I bought with my own money. I just seen the TV show that I reveled on in past episodes. I mean, live television show from Germany. With Maiden, Scorpions, Def Leppard, Ozzy, Quiet Riot, and Judas Priest, and whatnot, and of course Iron Maiden. And they played a lot of songs from this album, and that was the I think it was just released. I think this was in December of '83. This TV concert was aired, so it's yeah. Peace of Mind was already out.
Yeah,
So
for a couple months.
yeah, so it's a lot of songs from this album, and that was the first time I saw like moving pictures of Maiden, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I
There you go.
always say in magazines and so forth. So it's I hold this one dear to my heart, if you know what I
Yes.
mean. Yes.
This was also my first Iron Maiden record. I got this for Christmas.
Oh,
So both in December, where it's kind of interesting, huh? Yes.
there you go.
There you go.
This is what Phil got for Christmas, right
That's
down
right.
there.
Right
Looks
there.
like this.
Iron
Beautiful.
Maiden, Peace of Mind. Yes, and it was, this one's going to be kind of hard to talk about without having it in the background because
Yeah.
Iron Maiden's music is so, what's the word? I want to say instrumental, but that's not quite the right word. It's so intricate and it's so orchestral in a way.
Yeah.
You know what? If you guys hit pause and go, and if you can, if you're able to, pop this on in the background. Pop this record on from Spotify, Apple Music, you wherever. Try to listen to it in the background as we kind of go through this because I think it'll make for a really good experience as
Oh yeah.
we talk about it. Because actually, when I edit the show, that's what I've been doing lately. I put the record on it like really really low, and it's so much better. It's
It
awesome.
is. It is.
But
It
you want
is.
to kick us off with
Oh
"Where
yeah.
Eagles Dare"?
Oh my god, a drum intro. To die for, man. We're Eagles there. Oh, drumming overall, man. Fuck me. I didn't realize when I was 12 years old that it Maiden started out with a different drummer, Clive Burr. I mean,
Mhm.
it was I actually didn't have a clue. And then when I grew older and growing up and started to drum in a band, I used to be a drummer. I mean, I don't know how many times I have listened to Nico McBrain on this album doing his shit. Fuck me. The drumming
I think he's
overall.
underrated.
Oh, yes.
He's definitely an underrated drummer.
Oh,
Like when
yeah.
you ask, like everybody thinks of John Bonham, and
Oh, yeah.
but it's like obviously well deserved. But I think nobody ever talks about Nico, man. Like
No,
he's
no.
just, and he's just he seems like a fun guy overall. He's always
Yeah.
cracking jokes and trying to be funny. And I love. I was watching a concert on YouTube the other day, and he had the T-shirt, and it was of Eddie, except instead of Eddie's face, it's his face. On it. And I'm like, "Oh, fuck, I need a shirt like that, but with my
Yeah.
face where Eddie
Yeah.
is." Like, "Oh, I gotta
It
make me one
That's
of those."
classic Nico for you right
Yeah,
there.
I mean, you
It's
gotta love the guy, and you're right, the drums in that are just
yeah.
what a way to kick off an
Oh,
album,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah. And I mean, the o overall, the drumming on this song is, like, spectacular. I mean, the heaviness, it goes with the drums and Bruce vocals on this one too. I mean, damn.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah. Especially when you consider the tempo changes, the amount of
oh, yeah.
tempo changes this
Yeah.
this album has, and he just does it. Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. Um, I love the chaos around the solo
Oh, yeah.
that's going on. Like, it
Oh, I
makes
agree.
it so much more impactful. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. And going back to tempo changes, like, I didn't count, but I felt like every 2 seconds there's a tempo change. There's gotta be like 20 tempo changes in this fucking song.
Yeah.
It's
And it
it they master it. It's not like,
yeah,
"Oh, shit.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, what the hell they doing now?" No, it's
Y
like,
It's
"Oh,
supposed to
okay,
be
that's
like that.
cool."
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
you don't get disturbed about it, and I mean, normally you tend to listen to progressive, like, metal or something like that with, like, a million tempo changes, and you go, "What the hell? Not again. Come on." But it's not. I mean, it's funny, a friend of mine, I shouldn't mention his name, but his name is Max. He's a really, really big, Maiden fan, and we talk about this, and it's funny because you're not supposed to like, Maiden as much as you do, he tells me, because it's more like progressive stuff. But it's progressive in a way that it's not meant to be progressive from in my mind when I listen to it. Because it's when you listen to a song like Where Eagles Dare, it's like you say, it's like 20 tempo changes, and it's a mix of everything, but it's blending together. It's creating this song which is like spectacular in itself. And that's what Maiden is for me. It's not that I think it's progressive, or I mind the tempo changes. I never think about it. Oh, can you listen to a song that's like 11 minutes long, and it's, oh man, I mean, rock and roll is supposed to be like 3 4 minutes. Well, I agree, except for Maiden. There's something in their songs. I don't know what it is, but it's
It's it's sort of operatic.
yeah,
I think I have this note on one of the songs as we go through this, but they're not just creating a simple song. They're
no,
creating this opera, if you will,
yeah,
um, especially with the way Bruce sings, right? I
yeah,
mean, an incredible vocalist, and it's almost, again, very Dio-esque where he's acting it,
yeah,
not just singing it.
no,
And you can see that on stage with him running around like a crazy man on stage.
yeah,
He's
oh
acting
yeah,
it out. He does costume changes. It's it's
yeah,
it's very, like, theatrical,
oh yeah,
even when you're listening to the studio record, it's theatrical. It's
yeah,
you picture this in your head, and I think that's what makes Maiden different than bands like Yes, or I don't know,
Pink
Rush,
Floyd
I
and
guess you could
Rush, Pink
consider
Floyd, yeah,
progressive and stuff, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, I get it, but
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my god, oh my god.
All right.
Okay, moving into the next one. You wanna take a lead on this?
Revelations. Okay, this is one of my favorite Maiden songs
Oh my god.
of
Ba-dum,
all time. Like,
ba-dum,
dun, dun,
dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
dun.
Ba-dum, ba-bum.
When I
My
sing along to this is the only time you will ever hear me say any kind of scripture, any kind of
Oh.
religious stuff. This is the only time is when I sing along to this. It's just the beginning, again, the drums, just the way it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Love the riff in the beginning, the
Oh, yeah.
first verse, the tempo changes. I mean, just in the first like minute of the song, it's just like, okay, you're hooked.
It's such a
This
classic intro.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
The slowdown around 2:14 and Bruce's vocals on that are just off the hook.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just his vocals on, I mean, okay, yeah, he's one of the best vocalists in metal, but I really feel like this album really proves what he can do. And he can
Oh, yeah.
still, for the most part, do all this live
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
today,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is great. Oh yeah, here it is. It's like we're listening to an opera or a play,
Mm.
you know? It's just, it almost brings tears to my eyes when you're
Yeah.
listening to it and you're just, it's like it's so good. It's just
Mm.
so good. It
I
gets
think there's a
heavy.
yeah.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
there's a groove to it also. I think
Mhm.
it's you can hear it's not only that it's, he heavy metal. I mean, from start to finish, there is a groove in Bruce's singing and in the playing and whatnot, and Revelations is one of those songs. It's one of my all-time favorite Maiden songs. It's such a
Yeah.
great one.
And I love the way that it ends with that beginning riff once again.
Mm,
So it kind of ends the way it began.
yeah.
And yes.
I
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I love to hear this song live also. It gets me all
Oh.
the time. It's so phenomenal. It's I
Didn't they
mean,
have to stop playing this song live for a while because there was some copyright claim that somebody, I think, was it Revelations I'm thinking of? It's
oh,
like
I
a
don't
year or
know.
2 back.
Oh,
They stopped playing it live because and they won that suit. I'm pretty
yeah,
sure it was Revelations,
maybe
but if
I
you're listening,
haven't.
correct me if
Yes,
I'm wrong, but
do
I'm
it.
pretty sure. But yeah, great song.
It is Flight of Icarus. Oh, I just love the groove that they got going on throughout the song. It's there is something. I'm a lyric guy, and I love the lyrics and Bruce singing. It's so well put together, if you know what I mean. It's
Mhm.
rarely that it's. I own a record store now. If you missed out, people out there, the Sons of Vinyl record store, and I get to meet a lot of cool people with different tastes in music, and I get inspired by people that come to my store and talk about their passion for like Depeche Mode or Rush or Pink Floyd, all the stuff that I actually haven't listened to that much. I know about them, but I never listened to them, and I feel so I because I'm thinking that I progressed in my musical tastes. I've listened to nowadays. I listen to Fleetwood Mac, and I listen to some Stevie Wonder and the Police, and of course the Stones. But the Stones have been with me because it's more like rock and roll. I'll listen to some blues stuff and whatnot. So I'm thinking that, and I know a lot about music per se because I am a music fan, but it's crazy to think that if I name my top 5 bands of all time, Maiden is always in there. And I'm thinking it's like I don't know what it is, but I always come back to like Maiden, Kiss, Dio, Judas Priest, and whatnot. It's always those bands that gets me all the time, and I don't know what it is. That there is something with Iron Maiden that draws me in. Every time I listen to Maiden an album like Peace of Mind, I thought, I don't need anything more than this. What else is there? There is nothing. Nothing can get me the satisfaction that Maiden does, or Kiss for that matter. But it's, I don't know what it is. You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, because the solo in this song, in Flight of Icarus, it's it's got a certain sound to it, and it's
Yeah,
really what got me into Maiden. So I think it's a lot of things with Maiden. It's the incredible amount of talent that's in the band, but it's also the music itself.
yeah,
Again, they're not just doing songs, they're creating these whatever you wanna call compositions. I don't know. I mean, they're just they're something special,
yeah,
and they've always been like that, I feel. Even in the more recent stuff, which admittedly I'm not as big a fan of their most recent stuff over the last few years, but you you listen to these songs and it's not like the others, right? they're they're not like the other bands out there. They're not
no,
like Judas Priest. They're not like Dio. They're not, well, maybe a little bit like Dio, but it's just, and I think that's the draw, and I think that's what makes Iron, again, like, I'll go back to that concert I was watching the other day, and the thing about Maiden is it's much like what Alice Cooper did back in the day. They create this theatrical experience that you go to. It's not just them playing music. They're Bruce talks to the audience and the way he does it, the way he introduces the songs, and all the guys are wearing Maiden shirts. They're not wearing somebody else other band shirt. They're pimping themselves.
yeah,
You got Eddie coming out, you know. It's just it's comfort food in a way too,
yeah, yeah,
I think.
yeah.
You know?
That's a
It's
great that's a great way to summarize Maiden. It's comfort food. Yeah, I'm
comfort
with you
food
100.
for your ears, man.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just
it is. It
it's good
is.
stuff.
That's a
Yeah.
great description. Man, oh man. Yeah. Oh yeah. We got stuck, but it's, well, what do you know? Die with
Oh,
your
the scream
boots
at the
on.
end on that one.
Oh yes. Oh
Fucking
yes.
hell.
Oh man.
Just yeah.
Yeah. I it's it's crazy to think, but we picked like the albums, I mean, right now that we're doing here as sort of like a last resort. It's I mean, this is people, this is gonna happen whether you like it or not, but we're gonna be awestruck with stuff that we'll listen to for like 30, 40 years. And of course, I mean, what do you say to a song? I mean, how can you describe a song like Flight of Icarus? You haven't listened to Maiden before, and you go listen to this. I mean, it will blow your mind. It's fucking insane.
Mhm.
Jesus. Well, okay, should we move along to Die with Your Boots On?
If you're gonna
Die,
die,
die with your
die
boots
with your
on.
boots on. Yeah, it's the riff in the beginning is just awesome.
Oh yeah.
You know what I love? It's we did Mind Crime a few episodes ago,
Yeah.
and this song is very similar to Mind Crime in the sense that the lyrics are still going on today. Like what they
Yeah.
talk about in the song, all that shit's still happening in the world today. It just shows you same shit, different day. And but yeah, I don't know. This for me, the part after the solo, and I'm sure there's a technical name for it, but I don't know musical terms all that much. But I love how that leads into Bruce's vocals, and
Yeah.
then they almost have like a second solo, which is really
Yeah.
good too.
Yeah.
Again, Maiden doesn't play by the rules either. That they make
No.
their own rules, which
Yeah.
is how creativity should. There shouldn't be any rules in
No.
creating things, and they Yeah,
It's such a
just
great
awesome.
song with great vocals, and I mean, I've read somewhere, or no, it was actually Bruce who talked about this when he did a spoken word or whatever you want to call it when he comes out on stage and talks for like 2 hours. And he struggles so much with Number of the Beast, that was his first album that he did with Maiden, and it's sort of like he went through like baptism of fire, if you will, and he came out on the other end, and then they created the next album, which was Peace of Mind, and you can hear how much he had had to think about his singing, because that's what he told us. I had to rethink my way of singing when I got into Maiden, because it wouldn't suffice if I just went in there and go wow. Uh, they wouldn't have it, and the producer wouldn't have it. So I had to struggle like hell with Number of the Beast to, I mean, 20-25 takes on a vocal part and so forth. And when you hear Peace of Mind, it's sort of like I in my mind that dawned on Bruce and landed like like velvet in him, if you know what I mean. Those words about you need to think about your singing in a different way, and now all of a sudden it's effortless on this album, I think, because the
Hmm.
vocals on this one is, I mean, it's some of the best stuff he ever did, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. I'd agree with that. Yeah, definitely.
So what is there to say about a song like "Die with Your Boots On"? It's a great song, strong intro, uh, great overall. I mean, it's we can go down in nitty gritty stuff on it, but it's such a great song, and it's every song on this album. It's supposed to be there in one way or another. I mean, it's those 9 songs together that makes this album so great.
Hmm. I agree. Agree
Cool.
100%. The Trooper.
The Trooper. It
It's an iconic song,
is.
definitely. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
um, makes you want to play air guitar, even
Oh,
if
yeah.
you don't want to. You're compelled to. You
Yes.
cannot do it. It's,
With those
may the
intro
power of
guitars.
Maiden compel you.
Oh, yeah.
It's like an exorcism. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I gotta say, what the my one of my favorite parts is how they have the galloping riff
Yeah.
as they're talking about going into battle and the
Yeah.
horse's breath and all that.
Yeah.
I mean,
"You take my life, I'll
talk
take it
about
too."
orchestration right there. It's
Yeah.
just fucking beautiful.
And but when I was younger, I didn't know English that well, so I when and then when I learned it, and as I grew older, I read the lyrics and I understood it, and all of a sudden oh, it's history. Oh my god, he's talking about a musket. Oh, that's really cool. I wonder, son. And then, of course, later on, I knew it was because I've read somewhere that both Bruce and Steve Harris are history buffs, and they tend to go with real episodes like Alexander the Great, that song from Somewhere in Time, and they did
Mhm,
stuff on Power Slave and whatnot. But this is actually um, from the British cavalry going out against Russians. I think it's somewhere in mid 1800s. It's a poem by what the hell is his name? Oh, Tennyson, Lord
mm,
Tennyson. It's a poem that they read,
okay.
and they made a song about this. So this is actually a battle of somewhere, I don't know, I forgot, but it's the British cavalry that you hear galloping in. I fire a musket, but I run you through.
Now the Trooper,
Yes,
good song. Does it
it is.
deserve all the accolades that it gets? Does it deserve to be one of the most iconic Maiden songs, or is it just another good song on this record?
Have you seen Maiden live?
Yes.
Did did they play the Trooper?
I know where you're going, but that's not quite what I'm asking.
Did they play the song?
Of
Then you got
course.
your answer. Then you got your answer. If you have experienced the Trooper live, people, then you know it deserves everything that is thrown at it. Because it's, I mean, to listen to the Trooper live when that high pitched Bruce Dickinson voice and the flag, and I mean, it's fucking insane. I think so. I think so, my friend. It deserves all the credit that it gets, and it's
Okay.
just another. It's not another one of those songs that where, I mean, yeah, I know what you're getting at. Maybe you think maybe it's a Run to the Hills that. Oh, I've heard about
No,
Maiden.
I think Run to the Hills is kind of overrated.
Yeah, it is. It
I
is.
think it's an overrated. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad song, but
No.
it's overrated, and
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like the Trooper's a bit overrated too.
You
Still a
think?
great song, don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, but I
No.
think it's, and, it's interesting
Oh
that they picked this
wow.
song as the
Mm-hmm.
namesake for the beer.
Oh. Okay. Oh, and I don't agree because I think it's perfect. I don't think it's overrated at all. Um, but, that's interesting. Hmm? Maybe, maybe. No, you're wrong.
I honestly think there's better songs on, like, Revelations is a better song than The Trooper,
Of course.
right?
But
But The
would you?
Trooper gets all the attention, and
Yeah.
that's kinda where I'm going. It's like,
Oh,
it's a
okay.
great song, and
Yeah.
it performs well,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still a bit overrated,
In your opinion,
in my
not
opinion.
my opinion. Okay, moving along.
Still
Still,
Life.
yes. Weird and funny intro. That's a great introduction to what we talked about before with the crazy dude Nicky McBrain. I mean,
Now, what's interesting about that intro,
yeah,
fun fact,
yes.
this is actually coming back from The Number of the Beast, where they got all the shit for being satanic. So
Oh,
this is a bit of a joke and a jab. So basically, it's you have to play it backwards to understand it.
yeah.
And it says, um, I wrote it down here, and it's gonna sound better in an English accent, but it's like, "What Ho said, the thing with the 3 bonce, BONCE, do not meddle with things you don't understand." And then he burps.
Yeah.
So, that was a little bit of a joke, and again,
Yeah,
straight from Nico, man, just
yeah,
like, it just it's but, when I'm a kid and I'm listening to this, I'm like, "Holy shit, that's kinda creepy."
yeah,
You
yeah.
know? So I love that they did that. I love that
Yeah,
they basically stuck the middle finger out to all those people that said they were satanic and, like,
yeah.
"Don't meddle in shit you don't understand." Like, you don't even know what the fuck Maiden's about, and
No.
you're out here calling them satanic because they did a song called "The Number of the Beast." Hey, here's a little something. The Bible also talks about the fucking number of the beast, right?
Yeah,
And it
exactly.
that fucking in the song, they're quoting right out of the Bible right there.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
but anyway,
But back to the song. I mean,
back to the song.
that is that certain groove, which I think it's sort of different from the previous albums with Paul Diano. I mean, Bruce singing here is pure awesomeness, and it's you got there's it's a different way. I mean, I like those first albums, but you can see what they could do with Bruce as a singer, how they could develop themselves, and I mean, Still Life is it's a great song. It's not one of my favorites, but still, it has to be in the mix, or else it wouldn't be Peace of Mind.
See, it is one of my favorites on the record.
Yeah, cool.
I I remember breaking this record out, listening to this record for the first time. I'm sitting in this old piece of shit lazy boy that we had, rocker, and I've got it cranked and I'm, got the lyrics out and all that, and I'm just enjoying this thing immensely, right?
Yeah.
And Bruce starts singing and I'm like, "Holy shit." It's like we've never heard Bruce sing like this before.
No.
And it's like this almost whisper singing kind of, and
Yeah.
it's like kind of creepy and eerie, and then the drums kick in and it gets heavy,
Yeah.
and the lyrics are all kind of dark and creepy. It's about suicide and jumping into this pool, and you got lyrics like "They won't leave me be. I know I haven't long to go," joining them at the bottom of the pool, and as I'm like
Yeah.
13 years old listening to this going, "What the fuck is this about, man?" You know? And there's this riff that comes before the solo, and then that solo, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I feel like it's implying that some kind of struggle or something's going on,
Yeah.
right? And then it comes back and it's like, "Can't you see, not just me, they want you too?" It's like, okay, yeah. And it's this, oh man, it's insane
Yeah.
how the lyrics on this, and it's so dark and just, yeah.
It's a great song overall. That's what it
Mhm.
is.
Um, you're talking about how, whatchamacallit was off a poem. This
Mhm.
was actually done off of a short story called
Oh.
Genius Loci by Clark
Oh.
Ashton Smith,
Mhm.
which I did not know
No.
until I happened to, I wanted to look up to see, because I remember that was hearing Nico was the beginning of
Yeah.
that, but I remember that there was like what he said,
Mhm.
and I wanted to look that up, and then I ran across that. So that's, again, literature and religion and stuff
Yeah.
is and not in a satanic way, is
No.
what Maiden's all about. And I think it's interesting, the some of the topics that they choose to do.
Yeah.
And in a way, this album's kind of all over the place
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
from a content standpoint.
Yeah.
But
I get you. Next one,
Quest for
Quest.
Fire.
Oh, yeah. Another great intro, drum intro. I think it's. I mean, I've always loved Nico's drumming. I mean, it's always been with me because I used to be a drummer, and he really proves that he fits so well into Maiden. I mean, this is like his first album with them, and it's. I mean, I don't know what to say. The twin guitars right before the solo. I mean, it's crazy stuff. And then with the solo, both Adrian and Dave are switching between themselves, which they tend to do quite oftenly. But it's for this song, it's, I mean, it's going in and out all the time. It's
Yeah.
fucking insane. It is.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Does Nico's playing make you want to take the drums up again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. I'm reliving this at the moment with my son Texas, because he's a drummer right now and he loves Maiden. So we tend to listen to Nico's parts even more. And then I actually showed him some stuff that I learned from Nico back when I was a drummer. Just easy stuff that you can put into the mix when you're playing with a band, or you're doing a song that you wrote yourself or something like that, to be
Mhm.
able to pick that up. And it's easy stuff. because I broke down his parts when I started playing. I started playing drums when I was like 13 years old, and stopped playing when I was like, I think I was 26 or 27. So there was quite some years there where I played the drums like 3 or 4 times a week,
Mm,
like 2 or 3 hours a day when I was practicing. So I'm reliving that with Texas at the moment, and
nice.
it's so great.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
so
awesome.
yes, yeah. So I still play the drums every once in a while. I tend to fiddle when we do when we write songs. I hear myself picking up the drum parts in my head. So when I write music with the one of the other guitarists in both Grand Server or Dead Anarchy, I tend to sit down like you know when people go to a piano and they play the
Hmm.
parts, and I tend to go with the drums because that's my instrument, and then we talk about the riff and the lyrics and whatnot, and I sit down with the drums, and we're discussing which way to go with the song, and I pick up the pace with the drums, and we're discussing it, and I think it should sound more like this, and then we play it out. So I every once in a while I do that. So
Okay,
it's
interesting.
not completely gone from my life, but it's and when I listen to music, it's always first off I hear the drums, and then second it's the vocals and so forth. So it's kind of embedded in my DNA to listen to the drums at first hand. So if there is I'll listen to an album which have sort of like a clean production, and it's not, there is no bottom, and it bugs me because I want
Mm.
like this album with a big bottom, and you can hear it drums pounding, and if you listen to this album in your headphones, you can really feel Nico going at it. So
There you go.
yes.
I'm what's called a finger drummer, and it
Oh.
drives my wife fucking crazy because I'm always like, I'm always doing shit like this, and it just
Yeah.
drives her crazy. But that's as close to music that I will ever get to.
But that's good stuff. That I mean, you're going into it, and you get to go into that zone, if even if it's like finger drumming, it takes you somewhere. That's a great piece of music that tends you to go,
Mm,
or I mean, you headbang, or you play air guitar, or you play with your fingers or whatnot. That's something that draws you in with a
mhm.
song, and that's a great song for me. Tends you go, if we're thinking, then it's not a great song in my
No,
book.
no, yeah, if
So,
you can play along to
yeah,
it,
yeah,
whether it's air guitar, air drums, or finger drums,
yeah.
whatever, man, that's yeah, yeah.
That's some great stuff.
Track 8,
Yes.
Sun and Steel.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's it's getting tedious to talk about the drum intros and guitars and whatnot, but it's sort of like it sets the tone for the song all the time. It's crazy to think. I mean, they must have. I mean, I actually read Adrian Smith's book, which actually about more about fishing than it was on his musical career. It was quite interesting because he talked about I do love fishing myself, so he talked about a lot of stuff that I like about that too. But he actually when that crazy period of the 80s with Power Slave and that whole tour that they did, the World Slavery Tour and whatnot, and the '90s when he quit Maiden and did some solo projects. When he came back to Maiden, he started practicing even more. So he sits there and he runs through the whole set on his guitar, like 2 hours. He sits in his hotel room and practicing every day, even though there's not a show. He practicing, and you can. He said it was like that back in the day when I started out, and it's you can hear Dave and Adrian sit together in a room fiddling with the guitar parts, and it's insane to think that, well, if you go this way, I go that way, and we can do harmonies of one another, and you do the first bit of the solo and I do the second bit, and then you come back, and I'm thinking, what the hell, what's going on? And it's such great instrumental playing. It's dawned on me every time I listen to those guys, especially in this album. It's fucking insane. There's so much thought going through their minds when they play together. It's well, and
And I
yeah.
think these guys are underrated too.
Oh yes.
You know, it's always
Oh
Eddie Van
yeah.
Halen and
Yeah.
some of these guys, Jimmy Page, and again, well deserved. Not
Yes,
trying
of
to take
course.
anything away from them, but
No, no, no.
it was weird because my wife and I were talking on the porch a few weeks ago, and we had this classic rock playlist that we were having, and she asked me like, "Okay, who are your favorite guitarists?"
Yeah.
And I had to think for a minute, and these guys, I didn't even think about these guys. And I'm ashamed at that because they are so underrated. They are so these guys can fucking listen to any of these solos on this album,
Yeah.
and you can hear the talent, like you said, the
Oh,
back and forth and all that
yeah.
stuff. Like that takes talent to
Oh
do that, and
yes. Yeah.
it's like it's not just playing your thing and then the next guy does it.
No.
It's not like how
No.
Priest did it, where they had Glenn Tipton do the big solo and then they had KK do the smaller solo.
Yeah.
These guys are like they're
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
insane. And
Yeah.
yeah, so you're right. These guys are they know the instrument.
Oh
It's
yes.
not
Oh
they don't
yes.
just play it. They are
No.
very similar to Hendrix in the sense that it's an extension of them.
Yeah.
They're
And
not
they
just playing it, they're
no. And
making
Dave
it do their bidding.
yeah. And Dave is actually from the get-go, I think he's a bit older, 1 or 2 years older than Adrian, and they grew up like not far from one another. They knew about each other, and Dave was already in bands, and Adrian was, I mean, he was a teenager starting out playing guitars, and he looked up to Dave, and here they are together, and Dave could have easily gone with, "Fuck you, little boy. What the fuck? Supposed to play together?" No, because they're I mean, they're English. They're from the working class. So Dave go, "Ow, I can show you some tricks." So Adrian actually got some of his playing through Dave. And
Yeah,
I I bet you that Dave picked up something from Adrian too, because they're hashing it out, doing it
yeah,
like you said, it's back and forth, and it's not easy. It's not easy to do things like that. It sounds easy, but you have to be in a certain state of mind when you play music
right.
like this. And it's
And you gotta let that ego go,
oh yeah.
which isn't easy when you're in Iron Maiden, one of
Oh,
the
no, no,
biggest
no.
bands in the world, you know, but they let that ego go so we can create something extraordinary
Yeah.
versus just me hogging the guitar solos and the guitar parts, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that speaks a lot to who these guys are in the
Oh,
band
yeah,
too.
and you
That
can see that too with Jenny Gers. I mean, 3 guitars players. I mean, when they asked
yeah,
Bruce to come back, he said, "Well, if I'm coming back, I'm bringing Adrian with me." "Yeah, but we're not firing Jenny Gers." And Bruce said, "Well, that's fine." And all the guys said, "Well, we'll have to do different guitar parts. We'll figure it out." And it's
yeah.
sort of like the 3 guitar players, for crying out loud. How many how many bands have 3 guitar players?
I
It's
know.
it's it's insane, but they make it work because there's no ego. There's no contest. It's not a contest for these guys. It's the love of the music, is the love of their instruments, and they do it so well.
Yeah, I think that if there's ego involved, it's really they just wanna create something extraordinary
Yeah.
together and not anything else. They just wanna
No.
be that band that people can count on
Oh,
for
yeah.
great music, and I think that that's special.
Yeah, it is.
Going back to the song though,
Yes.
is it me or does this sound like it's got a little bit of a nod to the first 2 records?
I think, I'm you
It's got
might
a
be
little bit of
right.
something that
Yeah.
not so much in the
Yeah.
lyrics, but in the music. It's a
Yeah.
little bit more,
Straightforward.
yeah, straightforward. I was gonna say kinda punkish like the first
Mhm.
2 records, but it's not really that, but it's got that hint, that little something something going on
Yeah. Yeah.
that I can't explain it.
I
Yeah,
agree.
it's the solo was interesting in this one because it's sort of kinda chaotic and short,
Mhm.
but it works.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It works.
It really works.
So, yeah,
Good stuff.
Sun and Steel.
Sun and Steel. And the last one, number 9,
Fucking
to
epic song, man.
Tame a Land. We talked about this with previous records. When you choose to go out with a song, and you and me, we both think that you should start strong and you should finish strong when you get the chance. Because if some people tend to go with, I didn't listen to the B side of the album. It took me too long. Well, you missed out, bozo, because To Tame a Land, fuck me, that's an epic song. I mean, you can hear. I love the mellow intro and how Steve's bass guitar is controlling the narrative throughout the whole song. It's I mean, it's crazy to think. I mean, I don't know what to say. You can.
In a sense, you mentioned Steve. They
Yeah.
got 4 guitar players because Steve does not just play bass like most bass players.
No.
He plays it like a fucking guitar, and
Yeah.
there are like you said, this part is like a guitar part,
Yeah.
like a regular guitar part, not a bass part.
No.
And I think that's what again, one of the things that makes Maiden stand out is that kind of bass playing. Um, Metallica is like that as well.
Yeah.
The bass isn't always just the rhythm. It's actually, um, more pronounced,
Yeah.
more in
Yeah.
front than behind, if you will, if
Oh,
that
yeah.
makes any sense.
It does.
You said it doesn't?
Oh, no, it does.
Okay.
It does make sense.
I
I
don't know
know it.
what the hell that guy's talking about.
No, I get you, because I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be able to create music. I mean, to create music with great musicians, guitar players. I mean, it's crazy to be in a room with people that got so much knowledge over an instrument, and you can hear it in this song. I mean, the instrumental parts at the end of this song, it's fucking insane. It's superior to music that's out there. I mean, it's I don't know what to say,
Yeah,
but
it's like they're just jamming and kicking
yeah,
ass. It's like, "Okay, let's just play for, like, 8 minutes." Like,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Let's just have some fun.
yeah. And it feels effortless,
Yes.
but I know it's not.
No, it's you listen to that and it's very complex,
Oh,
but it
yeah.
doesn't sound like that in a
No.
way. It doesn't. It's like these guys make it look so easy and sound so simple, like
Yeah,
they are just jamming, like it's all just coming off the top of their head and,
yeah.
like, whatever, but no.
Some of the parts
No.
maybe has come from a top of the heads, but it's in when you put these parts all together, it's I mean, it's hard work.
Yeah, this song's a freaking masterpiece. I
It is.
mean, you talked about the opening of this one. It's the Egyptian feel of the guitar is just amazing and how
It
they
is.
made it work so well with the lyrics.
Yeah.
The tempo changes, even throughout all the tempo changes, it still has that same vibe, and I don't know how they did that, but they
No.
did.
Yeah.
Um, the main riff of the song is just incredible, and Bruce's vocals at the 220 mark with that riff in the background is
Oh,
just
yeah.
fucking magical.
It is. It is.
It's just it's
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. I'm lost for words sometimes because it's I've listened to this record today. I mean, I quite often listen to it, but today I really sat down and broke it up and listened to certain parts that wait a second, what the hell was that? Listening in my headphones and I'm going, wow. Some bits and pieces that I missed. I mean, there is always when you're 12 years old, you tend to listen in a certain way, and then
right.
as you grow older, you find more stuff in there that you didn't know existed, and then you
Yeah.
get better a- about your own playing, your own creation as a musician, and you go, oh my god, that's not easy at all. And and all the time I'm thinking that this sounds so easy, this sounds so effortless, and oh my god, it's such hard work. Damn, I wonder how many takes that did with that guitar solo and that bits and pieces and whatnot, and they put it together and it sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Isn't it awesome when a 40-year-old album can still give you something new?
Yeah, it's nuts. It's really nuts.
Yeah.
It's so great. What a
Well,
way
yeah,
to
I think
y yeah, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I was saying that, I mean, you hear stuff all the time, which means it's timeless, a piece of music, which, I mean, I think it's the best way to experience. I mean, the records that I grew up with that I thought was like the bomb back in the day, and I don't listen to it no more. Those albums, they weren't that great, but I still 40
Yeah.
years later still listen to Iron Maiden's music. I mean,
Mhm.
still to this day, I spin their records.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, you're right, that I listened to back in the day, stuff like Journey and Toto and that kinda stuff, which I don't
Mhm.
listen to now, and I have no interest in listening to it now.
No.
Not at all. Not even to put, like, a song here and there on a playlist. I have no interest in doing that, you know? But bands like Maiden and Priest, it's like
Yeah.
always going
Yeah.
back to those and play because they're I mean, fuck, when you got a song like "To Tame a Land" on here,
Mhm.
and it's such a well orchestrated piece, how can you not keep going back to listen to that?
Y I
Compared to
know,
"Don't
right?
Stop Believing," I mean
Don't get me started on that song. Jesus Christ.
it's
Ah,
night and day, man, it's
it
night and
is.
day.
It is night and day. It is. Oh,
Oh,
shit.
fucking
Well,
hell. Final
yeah,
thoughts. What's your rating on this bitch?
10 out of 10.
I concur.
Yeah. I mean, those 9 songs put together, even though there are songs that are better and they're I mean, you know what I mean, but it's all together, those 9 songs create this album, this epic masterpiece. It's it's a
Mhm.
peace of mind. See what I did
There you
there?
go.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. You gotta love this record, man. Yeah,
you have
I'm the same way, 10 for 10.
yeah,
Only because well, not only because, but I will never give any old Iron Maiden less than 10 for 10.
no, I agree.
New
I
Maiden, I could, but anything
Yeah,
old, there's no fucking way because
no,
it all of it is just so good. Even the first 2 records, which are a completely different sound, um, still always 10 for 10.
yeah. I don't but I
Mhm.
think it's I love the new not all the stuff, but I really dig the new stuff that they've done. I'm I'm so happy that they created and recreated themselves and to thinking outside of the box and doing what they love to do and put out quality music still. I love the albums and you too. So I think it's a great one, but it's I always go back to the older stuff. But I think there are some bits and pieces, especially on this last album that they did, which I think it's really really great classic Maiden stuff.
The stuff about the more recent Maiden stuff is that it's high it's the same effort, it's the same mentality as the old stuff.
Yeah,
It's the music's a little bit different, but you can tell the quality is still there, the
yeah,
musicianship is still there. They're still trying to create the best record that they possibly can create, and
yeah,
I respect Maiden for that, even if I don't really care for some of the song like this last record, it's okay. It's what it's probably not one I'm ever gonna probably go and listen to. But that doesn't mean it's a bad record,
no,
right? It's just not my
I
cup of tea, if you will.
I hear you. I hear you.
But but yeah, Maiden's always put out the top notch stuff, right? A top
Yep.
shelf. It's always been good,
Mm.
good quality.
Good quality stuff.
What's
Mm.
pimp your record store, man?
Oh yeah, the Sounds of Vinyl record store at Krusegatan 23 in Malmö, Sweden. Come by, have a cup of coffee, talk about Iron Maiden for crying out loud. Do it. And
Yeah.
if you find this peace of mind in my record store, come look me up and say, this is one of the greatest Maiden albums ever. Maybe you get a discount. Who knows?
Ooh,
Go
ooh,
find it. Go find it in the
ooh.
crates
See,
right now.
there you go. Any final words before we get the hell out of here?
Heavy metal.
Okay. All right. And with
That's about it.
that, we'll see you guys next time. Later.
Later.